Hello, and welcome to the Dugout Podcast. I'm your co-host, Andrew, alongside my co-host, Marissa, and we're back again, as they say. Yes, Marissa, so finally, after weeks, of not touching on anything cricket-wise, we are back at cricket.
Leave it to the West Indies to give us some talking points, right?
It's true. So, yeah, first time in a long time. So, what do you have for us, Marissa, on the agenda for the West Indies? Or cricket, I should say.
Right. So, this week, the West Indies appointed Daren, Sammy, and Coley as the new white and red ball coaches, respectively.
Respectively.
Yeah.
Good coverage.
See, my mind's so frazzled, right, that I just call him words wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in my frazzled because West Indies cricket, sometimes it would just, like, for once, not to be surprised.
Mm-hmm.
They always just find a way to surprise you. Like, I am a fan of the Coley appointment. I thought the work he did with the test side in South Africa, even though it was just one series, was good. And I think he got all the building blocks there. And I think they said they wanted the right ball coach to also work with the developmental teams at the A sides and the academy, which I think is good. That's a good continuity, so to speak. So I am a fan of that appointment.
Mm-hmm.
Daren, Sammy. I like Daren, Sammy. I really do, But the first thought came in my head, and I'm really disappointed I have to say this because I actually heard another podcaster on the Caribbean Cricket Podcast say this. So I feel like if I almost stealing his line, but honestly, the thought came in my head. I feel this is just like Chelsea appointed Lampard to be the coach. I feel like you're just going for the vibes. Because Daren Sammy does not have the highest level of coaching qualification from what I heard.
Right.
There are other coaches in the region that have it. He doesn't have it.
Well, you're accurate in that respect because it's not really a her thing. It's a fact. He actually isn't qualified from a coaching perspective, certification perspective to be the head coach. But apparently, I don't want to misquote the person. It was either Desmond Haynes or someone else. Can't remember the actual person. But I guess applications were sent in. There was a panel of 5, and I guess he would have been impressed in the interview process. And they said that there are other things that alluded to the fact that there are other things that deem him suitable for the job besides actual qualification.
Vibes.
Continue. I don't want to cut you off.
Vibes. That's what it is. And look, I'm all for getting people in that can instill a winning mentality, but. Yes, he won 2 2020 World Cups, but has he really done anything at the one-day level? And I think he has coached a couple of championship winning sides in the PSL. And I think he was a coach for the St. Lucia Zoots as well.
Yes.
So he has the experience. I think he has the charisma for sure. I think he can be a really good unifying body for the administration and the players.
Right.
Having had his issues with the administration with the past. He's somebody that can identify with the players and talk to them and stuff, and I appreciate that. But head coach, I just wonder how serious are we about getting back to the top with this appointment? I just think is a vibes appointment, to be honest. That's my personal opinion. I love Sammy. I want to make that clear. I think he has a good character. He's knowledgeable about the game, but it's just vibes.
Right. Okay, so West Indies. Take it from Marissa, get me to talk about the West Indies. So Andrew Coley as the appointment to the test side. Just really briefly, I'm not really familiar with him and his exploits, but again, I would have watched the recent test series down in South Africa. At the start of the year, I was impressed by the application and the performances of our team,
right?
For the most part. So based on that, I'm willing to give him a chance. Kind of open to the idea of him coming in as full-time permanent coach. And like you said, I like the fact that he's gonna have some input, basically be like an overseer over the A team and the academy, for example. Like you said, so we can have some continuity in terms of the ideology of how we want to play.
Yeah.
Or in terms of how our cricketers are going to be developed.
Yeah.
And start to transition into the senior team. if possible.
Yeah. So you can see a clear plan.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it would be helpful for the test coach to also have a exposure and like I said earlier, way of observing, analyzing, and assessing the players in the team, for example, and the academy to see, where they're at. Because I think that should help with the selection process as opposed to, him having no say in it at all or not being consulted. So I think that's a good direction to go in. Coming to Daren, Sammy. You really, I know you don't mean, I know you don't mean to be negative. I know you don't mean it in a bad way. But I take your points on board. My first thought when I saw that Sammy was appointed as a white ball coach was, okay. Like you clearly mentioned downside, which is that he isn't qualified for a job from a certification perspective. What can he bring to enhance the team? And I guess the plus side, or what we might potentially be the plus point, would be the fact, can he start to translate his exploits as a player into the current players who are representing the West Indies team? In the sense that when Sammy was a player, he wasn't the most technically gifted, but he would have been one of those players that you could say squeeze everything he could from his career. Right? Because of his mentality and his approach and his professionalism, his commitment, wherever he gets to be.
Right.
And I guess if Sammy can somehow transform our squad, T20 and ODI, into a unit of players that are prepared to fight for each other and squeeze everything out in terms of effort, that can only be a bonus. A positive, exactly.
Yeah.
And I think that's like what they're hoping for. But I agree with you. I think
again, why does it have to be hope? Why can't there be a plan? Why are you appointing somebody in the hope that they can do X, Y, Z?
I can't answer that. But
I know you can't. But.
I can't answer that. But I believe that that's the hope. That's what they're hoping for. I agree with you. I think he clearly got a job. Well, I'm assuming he got a job based on his charisma. Because I think it's more a case where they're hoping that the charismatic, unifying leader, galvanized, leader that he was as a player, he can be that, replicate that as a coach. And I think that's where they're coming from with this appointment. Will it be successful or not? That's left to be seen.
I hope it is, with all due respect. I do hope it's successful. We both want to see West Indies do well.
Right.
But I don't know.
I don't know. It's a tricky appointment, especially considering that you have some world tournaments, well, qualify first, but some international tournaments this year as well. So it's a tricky timing of an appointment, because I think going into a tournament, ideally you will want, even if you select someone who has no previous international coaching experience, you want someone who's at least qualified though.
Yeah.
But hopefully, I'm not really sure how the West Indies squads work, but hopefully they surround him with a good team of coaches that are knowledgeable and maybe can assist. So maybe let's say if he's a mentality coach and the person that can get the guys up and motivated to go out there and play. Hopefully though, on the other hand, he has some coaches rather, bowling, batting, fielding, that can assist in terms of actually fundamentals of the game and making sure that those things are as solid as they can be.
Yeah, that's the next thing that I'm going to look for as well. Who will be our batting and bowling coaches and fielding coaches? Because like you said, it's okay if he's the head, but he has a good structure around him to make sure that these three key aspects of our play are improved constantly and from game to game as well. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens there. But then my other issue with Sammy becoming coach is...
Okay, you have more? I thought it was just one. Sorry, go ahead.
This is not him. This is me and the board now.
Oh, you covered. Go ahead.
How you going to appoint a coach and not allow him to have input into the team, into his first squad that he has to coach? Now that for me is mind-blowing.
All right, question though. Okay, because you told me this. And obviously the squad would have been announced
the day before.
Right before the announcement of the appointment of
Sammy.
That's weird. There normally is a deadline for selection of squads for tournaments. So when we had to meet a certain deadline.
I don't know, but if we did,
Because
move
I'm
up the
saying
appoint of the coach.
if the deadline wasn't hasn't elapsed as yet, then it would have made more sense to announce the captain, select the coach first, and then allow him, like you said, to have an input into the squad.
Or given the fact that we've been looking for a head coach for months, just move up the recruitment process. Like,
I mean, you can try to move up the
baffling.
recruitment process, but at the end of the day, I believe that if you're going to appoint a coach, you should probably try to make sure you got the right person. So like, if moving up the process means that I'm not going to get the correct person that I think is ideal for the job, then that can't work either. So you see, you got to go.
Still might not get the correct person anyways.
Okay, fine enough, fair enough. But that's a time will tell thing. Because whatever appointment you make, you don't know if the person's going to work out. True. Yeah, so that's...
I understand. Right. It's just wild to me, to be honest.
I agree with you because unless it's a case where, and this is the only thing I can excuse, I am assuming that we do things on a professional level where we have contracts and stuff like that. So unless, the contract wasn't fully dry yet and lawyers had to go over a couple things, you know what I mean? But I feel like if you, let's say 2 weeks ago, you knew that Sammy was here.
Exactly, informal conversations.
Exactly, informal conversations.
Like, right? It's just...
And maybe they don't want to disclose that. Let's give them the benefit of the doubt for once, Marissa.
Let's go with that.
Right?
Let's go with that.
So you don't scratch your back of your head all the time.
Oh, you can't get past it. Is just...
Speaking of West Indies cricket being just as you correctly put it, our next subject on the cricket is Hetmyer, your favorite West Indian batsman, right?
Yeah, we can come to here when we talk about the squad.
Okay,
because we gotta mention the squad first.
All right, sure.
So the squad for the World Cup qualifiers is King, Mears, Brooks, Hope, captain. Wait, no, sorry, that's not the right one.
Apologies.
Yes, Shea Hope, captain. Rovman Powell, vice captain. Shamar Brooks, Yannick Correa, Kisi Karti, Roston Chase, Jason Hoda, Akil Hussain, Azari Joseph, Brandon King, Kyle Mears, Gadakesh Moti, Kimo Paul, Nicholas Puran, and Romario Shepherd.
Well, I guess I feel like you kind of give away what you feel about certain members of the squad being included, because when you get the surnames, you go here. Like shaking your head, visibly, even though you're not convinced by some of these selections. It's essentially the same team that we took to South Africa, right?
Minus Shannon Gabriel, who we took to South Africa, didn't play right. Drop him from the one day.
Yeah, because he didn't play right. That's
what
unless he didn't fit, no. He fit right.
He played Super 50.
Okay.
And Odin Smith, which wasn't a shocker.
Well, yeah. It was what they listen to me. At least to get one call right. Let's give them credit where it's due. You don't think so?
So let me delve into my issues with this squad.
All right, go ahead.
Yannick Correa. I saw Desmond Hill say that they want to make sure the correct structures, or they hope that there's that word again. They hope that the correct structures around Hayden Walsh Jr. to help him rediscover his best form. Fine, whatever. But Yannick Correa, why are we picking Yannick Correa? What's his primary suit? Because it feels like Yannick Correa gets in this team because he kebab. Same here with Austin Chase. Bowler, Osman, kebab. I don't get those two selections. And I definitely don't get Kimo Paul's selection. No, I am a Kimo Paul fan. I have been since under 19 days.
Right.
But the man has not played international cricket forever. The man has had enough injury problems. How are you going to bring him out to the cold and chuck him into World Cup qualifiers like nobody's business? Like, what happened to Fabian Allen? What happened to Dominic Drates? Dominic Drates has been on the fringes of West Indies selection for a while. Went on a couple, I think he's going to UAE. But what happened to Dominic Drates? What happened to other all-rounders that have surpassed Kimo Paul? Why aren't they being selected? And this is my thing with West Indies cricket. It's just, I feel like them is just pick certain players just so people got something to talk about. Because how you can bring Kimo Paul out to the cold? Like, it don't make sense. We can apply to be on the board of West Indies cricket board or something.
No, you will. I don't. I don't plan to.
And selection.
I don't want to head it. Number one, I don't want that headache, and number two, I'm not prepared to watch that more cricket to be knowledgeable about who I should select. Sorry. But in terms of the squad, I'm surprised that Ross and Chase got back in because, like you said, his performances of late haven't warranted it. When he did well, we said, okay, he's there on merit. I think that time has maybe started to elapse or has already elapsed because he hasn't really been performing in either format of the shorter version of the game. So that is a surprise. Yannick Correa, I was impressed with him last year against New Zealand in the home series, but
since then really do nothing.
Exactly, right. So I agree with you. I can't really voice any support for him right now. Who's the other guy? Kimo Paul, and I've never seen him play.
Well, never?
Nope.
Oh, he probably come in when you was on your hiatus.
Correct. I'm pretty sure he did.
Yeah.
As a lot of them have. So I'm gonna give you the benefit of doubt in terms of your assessment of Kimo Paul's selection.
Yeah.
But let's talk about someone who was not selected.
Yeah.
Shimron Hetmyer. Talk to me, Marissa. Talk to the people.
Hetmyer is so frustrating.
Mm-hmm.
Like, when his squad get announced, and before Desmond Hayes did a press conference about his squad, apparently Hetmyer wife posted something on Instagram about how Hetmyer made himself available, but they didn't say that, and she know he committed to West Indies cricket, and blah blah blah, and he reposted it. And I'm like, Hetmyer, you missed not one but two flights to a T20 World Cup. Mm-hmm. A T20 World Cup where you were one of our key cogs in our batting lineup. A T20 World Cup when you were expected to, along with Nicholas Puran, to step up and lead on the field. Talking about you missed your flight. Not once, but twice. Has Hetmyer addressed this publicly other than his reposting stuff his wife posts? Has Hetmyer come and say, has Hetmyer made a public declaration that he's committed to West Indies cricket and he will do everything he can to get back in West Indies colours, even if it's just PR spin like most athletes do? Has Hetmyer done any of that? Has Hetmyer shown the people of the Caribbean that he wants to be part of West Indies cricket? Has he, Andrew? But instead of hearing these things that he was saying.
I guess the question is rhetorical.
It is. Then Desmond Hayes says that Hetmyer called Jimmy Adams and said he's available. Mm-hmm. And then it was said that Shea Hope said he liked the camaraderie of the squad in South Africa, so they didn't see it necessary to pay Hetmyer. So when I say A, I gotta say B. Those are my feelings on Hetmyer. But let me get to the board.
But forget the board.
Okay. Though. Yeah, let me jump in because I did ask you some questions. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean, so there was no apology from Hetmyer about his exclusion.
Unprofessionalism. Let me just call it what it is.
There was no excuse from Hetmyer regarding his omission from the last tournament squad. Mm-hmm. And his subsequent omission from any squads, after that. Mm-hmm. Which, I agree, maybe a statement should have been made. If not apologize, maybe to clear your name.
Exactly.
Because that is a hell of an accusation. Mm-hmm. That's basically someone accusing of unprofessionalism, as you correctly put it. But you were about to touch on it, and I kind of interrupt you, so I'm sorry, but
it's okay. Go ahead.
When you say A, you gotta say B, because the manner of the press release from the board, I have big problems with the informal nature of the way in which we seem to conduct business.
I mean, right?
Wait, someone calling this letter.
Starting from what was last year? Oh, we told Puran to talk to Narain and Russell about their what?
Exactly. It seems we have a very, very casual way of conducting our affairs. And it seems like we have no problem. We have no shame. Because we put it in the public domain. Well, wow. I call Evan Lewis. I tell me, man, he only available for the CPL. Hetmyer call Jimmy Adams, not for write a letter, but we call you tell him, man, listen.
I got to go, man.
I get to go. We's friends. We pitch marbles at the rum shop in the evening. I don't know. So, no, it goes back to what we said, a few episodes back now about the nature of West Indies cricket and what needs to happen for it to really improve. The standard, right? The structure. sometimes it honestly seems like the tail is be wagging the hearse.
I'm telling you.
So do these things surprise me?
Not a bit.
Hetmyer, and like you said, I don't buy the whole this body said that we enjoy the camaraderie. Unless Hetmyer did something, let me say he did something offensive, or he was a cancer in the dressing room, for example. Unless that was the case, not selecting him, to me, tells me that you don't want to win. Because we can all agree that Hetmyer is one of our best batsmen. He's better than most of the batsmen in that squad. Maybe bar a Paul Rand, for example.
And Hope.
In terms of talent-wise. Well, although I kind of like I think he's more flamboyant than Hope, obviously. But yeah. So, let's say he's in our top 3, leading batsmen. Skill-wise. So if you're not taking him, it means that you don't want to win. Or that's not your aim.
And like what I talking about Hetmyer and his lack of apology or owning up, fine. But have there been actual meetings? Not me calling you up on WhatsApp and be like, yeah, man. It's like me calling you and say, yeah, I can be ready for 6 o'clock. You coming? Like, that's an informal conversation between friends.
Correct.
Have there been any sit-down meetings with Hetmyer, with the current coach or whatever, or past coaches, and say, look, this is the position. Say with Daren and Russell, and this is not me advocating that Daren and Russell should walk back in, but why aren't we having professional sit-down meetings that can be noted for the record?
Right. We have phone calls.
Like,
I mean, you can also have online meetings too, like, But even that, even then, but we have phone calls.
A formal meeting, not just an informal. Yeah, I got to go, man. Ask the IPL done. I ready to go to UAE. No.
You think it's a painful call? You think it's called WhatsApp?
Why?
But I don't know, because like I said, it seems like if they're friends, even some of Desmond Hill's comments about the selection process and the reasoning, it just, like you say, reeks of unprofessionalism.
And then
so don't get I just want to add, should we really be getting upset with Hetmyer, or is it
I upset with both?
It's the best problem.
Because here's my other problem with the squad. Who can take wickets? We have been saying on this show for the time we was playing Pakistan, for the time we was in T20 World Cup, we went to South Africa. But saying this problem is that there is no potent strike bowler to support Azari Joseph. Who is the other fast bowler? Jason Holder is not a fast bowler.
He's not quick, yeah.
Like, it's like, are we thinking?
It's Jason Holder. Kimo Paul's not a fast bowler either.
He's more of a Holder ilk bowler. But then they say, then they say, oh, we bring him in too because he could bowl at all phases in the game, man. That is nonsense.
And Romari Shepherd again is more like
he's more of a death bowler who's leaked enough runs.
Yeah, but he's here to pace as well. He's not a straight bowler either.
He quit, but he's not a straight bowler.
He doesn't. Well, he's like quit. I know. He didn't seem that quick.
140.
Right. But he didn't see express pace.
Yeah, he's not express pace. Like,
yes, but I guess 140 could be considered a straight bowler if
I
he
guess,
was a weight
but
taker.
he's not exactly. Yeah. So my thing is that, and they go back to Shannon Gabriel. Like, we took Shannon Gabriel to South Africa. We didn't play him in one game. And you omit him from the squad.
But even if you don't take back Gabriel, you have other options. Like somebody, the youngster from Trinidad Seals, right?
He injured.
He's hurt. Okay.
But you got other up-and-coming fast bowlers in your region that you can take. There was a fellow called Akeem Jordan. I don't think he's express pace, but he had a decent Super 50 as well. Like, I just don't understand. It's like we don't think.
And apart from Hussein, there's no backup spinner either.
Well, we got Moti and
I've never seen Moti play either.
Correa. Moti's good. Moti's a good spinner.
But we ain't probably starting to play Ross interest.
Of course, because the love rostered, and I love Roston
too. But exactly, I think we gotta be honest, right?
Exactly, you have to pick players on merit, and I just wish there could be a West. I mean, nobody's gonna be happy with any squad pick. Like today, England announced their squad for their one-off test against Ireland, and they had to drop their wicketkeeper batsman to get back Johnny Bearsett in. Obviously, there was outrage over that. So you're never going to be fully happy with any squad chosen. But I just feel like you could pick holes in almost every decision our selectors made, and it's frustrating. Anyways.
So before we move on, just want to give you a final word, or is that your final word on cricket?
That's my final word on cricket.
Okay.
So you can go ahead.
No, I have nothing to add. I think you said enough.
More than enough.
Yeah, more than enough. I'm going to support the appointment of Coley. the appointment of Daren Sammy, I have my reservations.
We can support them, man.
I have my reservations though. But like you said, we'll see if. Because I think the only way that can be successful is if he is somehow able to instill his mentality, and the team becomes a reflection of him.
But let me ask you a question though before we close. I already have very slim hopes that West Indies will be in that World Cup. I think we will not get past the qualifiers.
I'm a bit worried as well. Go ahead.
What happens then?
Well, no, I mean, nothing should happen because if you appoint, unless it's a disastrous, like let's say yes, Coley for 99 or some, you get what you're saying, right? Unless it's a disastrous performance in every game, nothing should happen because at the end of the day, it's similar to Tuchel's appointment at Bayern. You shouldn't expect, maybe hopeful, but you shouldn't expect that appointed Sammy,
and it's not even his squad.
Exactly, should bring about such an upturn in fortune, and especially where he's coming from as well. It's not like we high in the rankings or amongst the contenders. I guess we're still. Is it 50 over workout, right? I guess we kind of are. Okay, people will be worried because everyone knows the talent the West Indies has if they get things right. Can't say talent is not there. Talent is there, but let's be serious. We're not amongst the favorites for the tournament per se. So I mean, even if we don't qualify, to then get rid of him, before the year is out, for example, I think I would come on here and lambast him because you're doing foolishness. Yeah. You're doing foolishness.
I just think that for us to have a good qualifier, we need Jason Holder, the bowler, to really step up. He hasn't been great with the ball over the last few months, and we need him. We need him. Because our bowling, for me, is a bigger concern than our batting. We can put up 300 runs quite comfortably now and surpass that once Hope gets runs. And we got King and Mary's doing well. Puran having a good IPL. Rovman as well could play well as a finisher. So I'm not worried about our batting. It's the bowling that concerns me. So we'll see. As usual, we rally round. Yeah. And custom in the Dugout.
And the other thing that I want to close by saying is that, yes, and again, I think our cricket and its players on board need to iron out these incidents of unprofessionalism in terms of how they do things.
Yeah, because you can't accuse players of being unprofessional when you are literally doing the same thing.
Right. Because, everybody, if you got your select number, I could call you directly and tell you that you're available. It's a scheduling meeting. In fact, it shouldn't be him that you're communicating with. You should probably got a secretary or somebody there that will handle these proceedings for you in terms of scheduling and organizing when these meetings will take place. I agree with you fully.
Cannot.
It's almost, laughable. Really embarrassing.
It is,
Yeah.
So we take a quick break for a word from our sponsors. Whole Health Pharmacy, located in Jordan's Complex, Speightstown, St. Peter, carries a variety of products to take care of you and your health. Essential oils, muscle rubs, and the run-of-the-mill medications. And definitely don't forget your vitamins. Vinci Sea Salt, air humidifiers, tumblers, and women's havens pads too. We got it all for you. Don't forget your Barbados and natural Vinci snacks. So for sure you're gonna keep coming back. Ever hear about structured water? Well, tell your son, tell your daughter. Whole Health Pharmacy. More than a pharmacy, we take care of you and your health. And we're back. So on to football. Champions League action. Inter ran out 1-0 winners today. In what was surprisingly a very comfortable semi-final. 2 legs for them, I would say. 3-0 overall. Hardly looked troubled last week. Hardly looked troubled this week from the little I saw. So they're in the Champions League final. Big Rom, ready to bring home the cup for Inter.
He played? He came on?
He's come on, yeah. He came on as a substitute today.
I guess if they keep that formula going, I guess he can't be the reason that they lose the final. So
but yeah, Inter looked really solid. Milan, Leao was back. And he looked bright in parts for sure. But I just think Inter were good. Inter were solid. I didn't watch much of the game. And it wasn't a very exciting game from the little I did see. But I'm surprised it wasn't a little bit more competitive considering it's a Milan derby over 2 legs. I expected more thrust. But, congrats to Inter.
Yeah, congrats to Inter. I have nothing to. I have nothing to add. I think it's interesting that both Italian rounds where Italian teams face each other. The previous round with Milan and Napoli, and now Milan and Inter. The team that going into the games that we felt were the favorite, got eliminated. So that was interesting.
It is.
I agree with you. I agree with you. From what I didn't watch the game, but from what I read, I was able to follow along. It seemed like Rafael Leao was their most likely outlet if they were to get a goal back or what's not. But
signed a new contract this week too with them.
So yeah. Interesting. But yeah, I mean, Inter in the final. Obviously they're going to start as massive underdogs.
Massive.
Yeah, but
but I don't think that phases them at all.
It's football, and anything can happen. And I mean, once you're in the final, you got a chance.
It's true.
So, no congrats to Inter. I think it's a very, very amazing achievement.
Definitely not the Italian team we would have predicted to be in the final, though.
Correct.
Because we had Napoli there.
Boy, how wrong were we?
Yeah.
We've
been wrong a lot this season.
It's true.
Yeah.
So, learning experience, though.
It's true.
I think next year we'll be better. We'll be more spot on next year.
I agree.
But tomorrow is the flagship event, as people like to call it. The big spectacle. Now at the Etihad. City hosting Real Madrid, level 1-1 after the first leg. We spoke about the first leg last week. This week, I think we just want to gloss over basically where we think the key battles are potentially. Where we won or lost, and give our final prediction. So I'll let you start first.
Key battle for me is easy. I think midfield. Gundogan is having a fantastic few weeks. We know De Bruyne. Remember, De Bruyne didn't start this season too well. Was dropped for a couple of games, for a couple of weeks. But he looked hungry. Rodri as ever in there. Against, we know one of the best midfielders in Europe in Cruz, Modric, and who plays there beside them? Valverde?
Valverde plays in midfield science, yeah.
Yeah, because sure, many didn't play the first leg. Right. So I think that's going to be key. You can't ever say lockdown De Bruyne, lockdown City. City just have so many outlets. And I know last week I was like, man, I think Madrid and nick it, but I don't know. Haven't seen City at the weekend against Everton. I mean, it's Everton. But they had like 6 changes, Like, they were able to literally give their starters for tomorrow's game a day at the beach and just roll over Everton. It's like, I don't know anymore. Every time I think that, I think to myself, but it's Real Madrid. So I think key battle would be midfield. I think you said it last week as well. I think Real Madrid need Benzema to have a better game than he did last week for sure.
Need him to have more involvement.
Yeah. And that Haaland versus Real Madrid centre backs, again, that's definitely something to keep an eye on. Last week we talked about how good Rudiger and Alaba were. I don't know who's going to drop out if Militao plays, but they're just key, interesting battles all over the pitch. We can't forget Vinicius versus Walker. It's like there's just so many, and that's why I'm looking forward to the game. I'll be watching the Chelsea women's game as well while that's on. Can't forget my women.
Okay.
They're the only Chelsea team that brings me joy. But I'll definitely be watching that game, keeping a keen eye on it, obviously. But I don't know. I was confident that I was going to be Madrid last week, but right now I don't know if I could call it.
So you're not going to call it?
I'm not going to call it.
Okay, bro. I'm impressive.
You can call it though.
Yeah.
Of course you will.
You put my neck on your chopping block, man. I mean, like I say, it doesn't matter if I'm right or wrong, obviously. But I'll give a prediction. In terms of the game, what I expect City to play a lot better than they did last week. And I believe that Haaland will get chances that he didn't have last week. I think City will find a way to feed him more this time around. And I think Real Madrid will find it difficult. I think Real Madrid will have their moments because, I trust the quality of Modric and Cruz to overcome the early pressure that City will apply.
Yeah.
But I believe that Haaland will be different. And I'm going to predict a City win. A City passes through the Champions League final. I made the trip up on the banana skin that's into Milan. I meant to get there. You know what I mean? Yeah. So yeah. So I'm gonna predict. I'm essentially predicting that I think City will go through. I think City will, like I said before, I think City will raise their game, and I think they will play a lot better than they did last week. And I think that they will cause Real Madrid more problems. Yeah, and fashion more chances. And I think Haaland will be clinically enough that he'll put away about 2 or so.
2 or so. Wow, looking for a high scoring one, man.
Yeah, I mean I could be wrong. Real Madrid are a great side, but I think that will come to pass.
This must be tough for you, though.
How so?
I mean, City potentially winning their first Champions League and potentially winning the treble, and then Real Madrid serial winners. It's like it's a lose-lose situation. You can report your friend into Milan shirt on June 10th.
No, I'm not that. Okay. I don't want to rent a Milan shirt. I ain't gonna purchase one either.
But
no.
you say you know somebody's a Milan fan, so you can buy his shirt.
I don't think he got a shirt.
Oh, okay.
I just don't think so. I'm not sure. Not really, because to be honest, in terms of like recent rivalry, City have been maybe have many more trophies. But City haven't been around long enough for me to feel that's like volatile, dislike for them. If you get what I'm trying to say. They're not like a United, for example, or even a Chelsea. And then in terms of Real Madrid, I think God respect Real Madrid have accomplished.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's unfortunate I've been on the end of some disappointments at their hands, but you gotta respect that what they've done. You gotta respect the players that they have.
Yeah. They've
had some great players in the modern era: Benzema, Cruz, Modric, Casemiro, Ramos. The list goes on and on and on.
Yep.
Yeah. So because of teams like Real Madrid and City, I believe that this period for my team, well, it would be considered a good period. I don't think it will be considered a great period because we didn't win as much as those other teams, so we can't be considered. So that's just the unfortunate bit.
Yeah, fair point. Fair point.
So that's why I look at it. And as per usual, when the final rolls around, I often go to finals. I stay in my neutral seat. I don't bat a boy. I mean, if a boy scores a missing goal, I might jump up like, yeah, good goal. You know what I mean? But
you were very excited when Chelsea scored. When we met Bubba's for the
because
City.
I was with you, so I know, and I was very disappointed that next year, when Liverpool was in final, this one was rooting against me. But it's all right. It's all right. It is all right.
Was I rooting, or did I just thought Madrid was gonna win?
No, he's rooting against me.
I'm more sure I just said that Madrid was gonna win.
No.
Against
I remember your exact words in the corner, right? You said.
Yeah, because we could depend on this memory.
Of course, trust me, teachers' memories are infallible.
Right.
Right shot? Exactly. You said to me, I want to go lose today because there's no way I want to win. I think it was a treble, or I think quadruple was already gone. So it was like, no way I want you all win a treble. Yeah, exactly. That's what you said.
Oh, I know why I said that. I was bitter because of the FA Cup and Carabao Cup.
Fair enough.
So I could not possibly be rooting for your ultimate Champions League.
It is all right. But for me, I wasn't rooting for you to win against City, though. But it's just a case where I watched the game and I watched it from a neutral standpoint. I wasn't supporting anybody. You won it. It was there with you and Chris. And I laugh at, I enjoyed the fact that I enjoy atmosphere. It was like really a vertical pandemic, right? So like, I was happy to be outside, as young people would say.
We should do Bubba's again for UCL,
Nah, boy, nah. See me? I'm gonna be wrong. And it's not against City, It's not really against City the club. But I don't trust Belgian City fans. I feel like they're always bandwagoners. Because City have not been around that long. They got so many fans in Barbados.
But we met Bubba's for City Chelsea.
I know. I'd glad would get beat too. All you know what I mean? Unless you recently post the adolescent stage, like my cousin. You know what I mean? Who know the better? Yeah, seriously. I know people. I know a man that was a Man U fan. At least I remember him being a Man U fan as a child. I see him in Man U shirt, the old one with the shirt with sharp on it and the Adidas. Yeah, man, Fergie was in charge. And I saw Pep going City. No, he's the sky blue.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? Them things like that, I know how it would feel about getting to watch City win the Champions League.
We could talk about that.
We'll talk about it, yes.
All right. So the next thing on the agenda was league titles clinched in La Liga and Serie A.
Yes.
Napoli, I think they're first in over 30 years.
They're first in about 33.
Wow.
Yeah, I think it was.
And Barca, 27th league title.
Mm-hmm.
I hear Aubameyang can get a medal even though he only played 8 minutes for them.
He will?
Yeah. So I hear.
That's strange. Keep going. I think, but I know in Premier League or at least have appeared in at least 10 games to get a medal. So I don't know.
So yeah, I think those title races were pretty much done for the better part of the last few weeks, the month. So, but congrats to them.
Mm-hmm.
I remember when Xavi first went to Barca, it didn't start great, but he's really found his niche. I don't know how they get all the money to buy all the players and how they can invest more, but hey, that ain't for me to say. But congrats to them.
I don't think that he found his niche yet, per se.
You don't think so?
At the end of the day, it's Barcelona, and Barcelona will always be judged on Europe, on what they do in Europe.
Fair enough.
So I feel like
so we see next year.
Next season is a big one. Yeah.
Fair enough. Because they kind of went on to the Europa League without a whimper, which was really disappointing. I expected more in that time with Manchester United, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely. But congrats to them.
I remember I didn't watch the games. I just expected them to go through.
Oh, gosh.
Seriously.
I think I watched the second half of the first leg. And then I didn't watch the second leg.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why. Oh, I went walking. I couldn't be bothered. Why couldn't I be bothered? I don't know. But yeah. So we'll see. We'll see what happens next season with them. Napoli have had a fantastic season. Really disappointed they won't be in that Champions League final because I don't know. I have enjoyed watching them play the little times I've seen them play.
Mm-hmm.
But congrats to them. Breaking the Milan/Juventus dominance.
Right.
But yeah, I think, have you found that Serie A has become a bit more competitive?
Yeah, but I don't know. I find it with Serie A, it seems like, I guess that's football in general, but off late with Serie A, it seems as if there are a lot of mitigating factors into where a team will dominate the league.
Oh gosh. What has it been this year?
So, like, for example, like, Juve had a period where they won. Then they had a couple, issues.
Mm-hmm.
Inter was winning. But Inter won a couple. And then Inter had, again, some financial issues. The coach left. And then Milan won 1 year. So it seems like, it's something that's always happened where you think that on top, something's happened. And then it's be an issue and then somebody else is take over.
Fair enough.
That's what I mean. I'm not trying to cast any, aspersions against
I'm just making sure.
the league.
And then not similarly, but on the other end of the spectrum, Southampton's relegation has been confirmed for the Premier League.
Mm-hmm.
Probably the most expected relegation, I would say, because I think pretty much they were going down from January, to be honest. They've been really poor. Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I feel like them play the backside. I stick by the fact that I think Hasenhuttl would have, at least, even if they did go down, I think Hasenhuttl would have made it a bit more compelling, a bit more competitive. I think that they got rid of him a bit too soon.
I agree. But on the bright side, I could fleece some of the players for cheap. like you love to do.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Sure you don't know what you're talking about.
Exactly, we no way you don't know what you're talking about. Because there's not been a Southampton player that I've ever purchased for cheap. All them cost some extravagant fee.
Mane was only 30 million? Mane was not expensive?
I think it was actually 35, but that's a lot of money. I think it was 35.
Sure.
35. That's a lot of money. Talking about 35 million for Mane was a lot of money. A lot of people probably raised the eyebrows at that price because the Mane at Southampton wasn't the Mane at Liverpool. He improved a lot.
True. How much was Lallana?
25. That's a lot of money for he.
How much was Van Dijk?
We know that was 75. That's a lot of damn money too. So and Lovren was 20. So apart from maybe Ricky Lambert.
Oh gosh, forget about Danny Ings. Danny Ings didn't come from there too. Remember the boy he?
No, I think Danny Ings came from Burnley.
Let me Google that. Because Liverpool, two lovely St. Paul, Southampton. It's one
Danny
of
Ings came from Burnley, and I think he was 10. If it was a 10 minute, it was on a free.
It's one of the men get relegated. Carry on, people, man.
I'm not even going to be, based on drawn into that argument, right?
When I teeth more Southampton people?
I don't believe so.
I'm sure there was more. Oh no, he went Liverpool after Southampton. Okay. Yeah, it was Burnley. You're lucky.
And again, that's further evidence that the memory of a teacher is infallible. You know what I mean?
I have no comment on that. Anyways, moving on to the leaderboard. Oh gosh, remember Marissa learned to listen to her gut. Anyways, so this week I got 4 predictions right. I correctly predicted 2-1 Villa in the Spurs Villa game and 2-0.
What result you copy from me? Go ahead.
And the 2-0 Man United Wolves game that I did
Garnacho,
not.
Garnacho barely get for you.
That
was so close, man. I watched you get it right. I bet he go, but he was like,
look, I was like, Man United, please score another goal. I cannot have you get this 1-0.
So bad. So I was like, I back with the last kick of the game.
Honestly, you cannot be more vexed than me about that Chelsea Forest result. I sat on here last week and said my gut was saying 2-2 Forest Chelsea. But no, Marissa had to be an idiot Chelsea fan and back these men to win. Stupidness. And you got 5 predictions right with the scoreline 2-1 Villa and City Everton 3-0. City Everton was another one too. I was like, City, please. Either City score another goal or Everton score a goal. Do not let Andrew get this 3-0 right. Gosh. Anyways, so the leaderboard as stands is Andrew has 30 points. Marissa has 27 points.
Okay.
It's still tight. And Marissa has learned her lessons.
Okay.
So Marissa is going to be following her gut no matter what. Even if I got to predict a Spurs win this weekend because my gut saying it against 8.
Who's Spurs playing this weekend? Or that's just an example?
That's just an example.
Okay, no problem.
They play Brentford at home. Right. Anyways, so let's get to some predictions.
Okay. But before we do.
Okay.
This is a real hot topic, boy.
What's that?
I never mind. I don't want to. Should I? Actually, I don't care.
You mean Arsenal?
No.
What?
Tottenham. We had agreed that we would predict the results of the top 6 or whatever the case would be. I was if that's flash off in my mind, like, should we even consider Tottenham a top 6 club right now?
Don't do that to the men. They're currently still in top 6, right? So we'll predict their results.
Currently, with which top 6? Oh yeah, they probably might be. Yeah, that's true. All right, go ahead.
Let me try it. Let me see. Oh, they're actually not. Ooh.
They're not. Okay. Anyway, let's go.
Damn, my prediction might hold. Tottenham might finish 8th this season for real.
Right.
Oh, that Chelsea in 11th. I wonder if we could hold on to that 11th place. Anyways.
Right.
So we have a big match on Thursday. You know, last week we spent a lot of time talking about if Liverpool can catch Man United. And we kind of said that we thought Newcastle were safe. But Newcastle's final fixtures are looking a bit tough. So I think if there's a team that's vulnerable to the mighty Reds, it's definitely Newcastle. And it doesn't get any tougher than Brighton at home. Thursday.
I'll be watching.
Of course you will. You don't got school.
The game is not 3.
The game starts at 2:30.
Really?
Oh. Weird time.
Yeah, weird. My school finishes at 10 to 3. I know back then my students were doing multiple choice. It was already pre-planned. I'm not saying it just because they were doing multiple choice, and there's no way that I would, you're correct. I would tune in probably like 25 or so minutes, after the kickoff.
Okay.
I'm a good boy.
Right answer. Never know who might be watching.
I'm very professional.
Right.
You can't allow basically cricket board that come here and do foolishness, Professional.
Anyways, so Newcastle at home to Brighton. Prediction?
1-1.
Come
on, you seagulls. 1-1.
2-2.
Okay. I was thinking about saying 2-2 for true now because I feel like that game ain't gone goals.
Yeah.
But I'll go 1-1.
All right. Tottenham at home to Brentford. Saturday early morning kickoff. I ain't getting that watch that over there.
I think I'm predicting a Brentford win.
Don't do it.
2-1.
Wow.
I just got a feeling that Brentford will be up for that game. And I'm not sure that Tottenham will match. You know what I'm saying? I'm not sure. Yeah, exactly. I'm not sure they'll be as amped for that game as Brentford will be.
I got 2 score lines in my head, but I don't know what my gut telling me. One is 2-1 Brentford, and one is 2-2. 2-2.
Okay.
Liverpool at home to Villa.
Ooh, that's a tough game.
It is.
I'm gonna say 2-0 Liverpool.
2-1 Liverpool.
Yeah.
Man United away at Bournemouth. We talked about this last week.
Yeah, we did. LA go first.
Bournemouth 1-0.
Whoa. What was yours? Whoa. I was not expecting that prediction from you. I'm going to go the other way. I'm going to say 2-1 Man U.
We didn't get you 2 goals from Garnacho late minute.
Off the bench again. Exactly. That's a sticky little habit of that, you know.
Do not kill me. Arsenal away at Forest.
That's tough. And it's because I feel like they'd be a hangover from that last result.
And Forest still need at least another point for safety.
I'll go 2-1 for Arsenal. Get the benefit though. I feel like they won, at least bounce back.
I think so too, but I ain't go 2-1 Forest.
Okay.
I don't know where you get 2-1 Forest, but whatever.
Okay.
That's one I expect to be wrong though.
Mm-hmm.
I want to do Leeds away at West Ham because that's a big game.
Okay.
2-2. Why are you predicting? That's like my third 2-2 then. Like,
honestly, but I am tempted to predict a Leeds win for some reason. Ooh.
So I thought you said then base scout can be Spurs. But okay.
Base scout or vital scout, I don't know. But I'm so I know, but I already predicted that Brentford to beat Tottenham. I didn't want to kind of predict next week that Tottenham lost again. But damn. Okay, you know what?
Prediction
you said 2-2, right?
Yeah.
I'll go 2-1 West Ham.
I was thinking that too. But I thought you said you're going to predict a Leeds win after all that waffling.
Next week. Nah, because the reason I'm tipping West Ham is because West Ham don't have any European fixtures this week. So I feel they'll have some time to prepare for that game properly.
True. Are you sure?
Yeah, because they would have qualified for the European final last week, I believe.
Okay.
Actually, I might be wrong, you know.
I feel so.
Yeah, I'm wrong. Yeah, because last week's the first leg.
First day, yeah.
Oh, yeah. All right, so I can't change my prediction though, but I stay with it.
Okay.
Fine. It's what it is.
Potential title decider: Man City at home to Chelsea.
Whatever you predict, I think I gave it. Go ahead. Whatever you predict,
do not kill me.
Whatever you predict, I gave it.
Look, this is what I predict. Chelsea at the Etihad. Walk on in, Man City.
Walk on.
Yep. City 3, Chelsea 0.
Wowzers. That's not good accurate scoreline though. I'll go with that as well. I'll stick with 3 though.
Lucky I said 5 or 6. Leicester away at Newcastle. Another big game for Newcastle.
Yeah.
Man, contemplative, boy. Contemplative.
I feel that Leicester gonna shock the world.
Aren't you?
I believe that Leicester will shock the world.
Great.
I come away from St. James Park for 2 draw. A point. So I'm gonna go 2-2.
3-1 Newcastle.
Okay.
I think that's the game now.
I think the game down too, but I believe that point.
Such a shame.
I believe that there'll be a reaction to the calamity that occurred yesterday at the hands of Liverpool. Did you see Curtis Jones, by the way?
Yes, I did.
Did you see Trent Alexander-Arnold?
Anyways, we have another segment. Can we move
Did you
on?
see Trent Alexander-Arnold? Is it yes or no?
Yes, I saw
South Africa?
the free kick.
Oh, Lord, man. I don't mind it. Keep going. What's in that segment? What the question answer?
You know, it's people like you that making me hope Liverpool don't get top 4.
Oh, Lord, have mercy. You don't let think I'm on here in global top 4.
You can be happy.
I'm going to be happy, obviously, but I'm
especially
just,
since I was the only one having hope that y'all would get top 4.
But I'm just having a bit of fun.
Okay,
Relax. I'm not going to become a be overbearing Liverpool fan.
Anyways, our final segment for the night, we would have posted some invitation for questions to address on the podcast. We may make it a regular thing because we did get 3 very interesting questions. Your friend Ronaldo sent in 2. His first question is, how well do you think Arsenal will do next season? And we could also throw in the second question because I think it's related. Do you think Arsenal can manage Europe and league play next season?
So which one you want to answer? Because I don't think we have both of us have to answer.
Okay, fair enough. How well do I think Arsenal will do next season? It's funny he asked this question because I saw a very interesting tweet from this Chelsea fan, and they were saying that they think this season has been unusual with so many teams sucking, basically. Liverpool, Chelsea, even City took a while to get to their best. Man United haven't been fantastic. Spurs have not been. And he thinks it's unusual, and he thinks that Arsenal will struggle next season if things go to plan. However, I still think that's a big if. I still think that and this is a question that we're going to address because somebody sent a question about Chelsea. So I do think Arsenal I don't think Arsenal going to challenge for the league next season. And that's because of his second question, which I'll let you address. I think it will be tough for Arsenal to manage Champions League and the league. But what I will give them is if they're strengthened in the right areas. Heard today, Xhaka's leaving at the end of the season. And they're in for Rice and Caicedo. If they get 2 of them, that's great. But I think Arsenal needs depth. I think you've seen Arsenal struggle a lot when they've had to put in Holding and Kyriar for Saliba. I think you've seen a very tired Saka in recent weeks. So I think Arsenal doing well. I'm not going to put it on the other teams and where they are at. But just looking at Arsenal, I don't think they're going to challenge for the league. But I think that they'll be right up there battling for top 4 again next season. But a lot depends on depth of squad. And if they strengthen in the right areas.
Agreed. And I think that's a nice segue into the next question, which is, do I think they can manage the league and Europe next year? It depends on their recruitment. It's going to be interesting to see what kind of players they attract over the summer. Because now that they're back in Champions League, and they had a pretty decent season in terms of performances for the most part. It's going to be interesting to see the kind of profile players that they're able to attract and convince to come and join them. Because, like I said, the problem that teams in the Premier League have that don't necessarily have to be bucks like City is the fact that, for the most part, you have Liverpool, United, Chelsea, Arsenal, Tottenham, Newcastle, kind of going for the same players.
And let me throw in a team like Brighton as well. They're not going for that same caliber of players, but they recruit really well. Exactly. And they seem to have a good core there as well.
Right. So, it all depends on who Arteta is able to convince to come and play for Arsenal and how those players bed in. Do I think that they can manage Europe or Champions League football and the league next season? I'm not sure. I agree with you. I don't think that they'll be back in the title race next season. But I think they'll be probably trying for top 4 again. In terms of Europe or Champions League, a lot depends on the kindness they draw. Can they manage both Europe and league? That comes down to recruitment any day. And that's something that hasn't transpired yet, so I can't really say, what will happen. But like you said, I think they drop off in terms of their quality of squad when starters have been missing in certain positions is vast.
Yeah.
So, Gabriel Jesus out, you had to play Nketiah. And there's no shade on him because I thought he did well. He did better than I expected him to do. Saliba,
and you can't run soccer in the ground all the time.
Right, you can't run soccer in the ground all the time. Then even in midfield, if you could pass it with a guard party, Xhaka, for example, then you line up what do you call it, Vieira or something. Like, yeah, but he hasn't played a lot. You bring Jorginho. And in the defensive areas, Ben White was playing right back. I think Tommy also had some injury problems.
Yeah.
But when Saliba didn't play, you then brought Holding and then the guy Kyriar, right? I know you said him, but I mean, he only had one bad game to me. I don't call it a bad game. He had a game against Brighton where he was at fault for the first goal, apparently, because he decided to tie his shoelaces.
Don't say so.
You want me to say that? He decided to tie his shoelaces when he should be trying to help the people ball.
Whatever.
Because, no, seriously, I've seen many times where someone has lost the boot and they carried on playing.
Honestly, it was poor. He got stepped on, but I don't know what he was doing.
Right, especially in his position, that you go defend the situation. I've seen people play with the boot in the hand, and then when the ball go, put it back on.
Mad.
So, anyway, going back to the question though, League and Europe, can they manage both? It's possible, but they need to recruit well.
Yeah.
They need to recruit well. I think the problem that Arsenal, I shouldn't really say problem, but the reality that Arsenal will face next season is that based on this season, like you said, you expect him back in top 4. That's us being on the outside looking in as non-Arsenal fans, but
we know
reality, the Arsenal fans, they're expecting a title challenge again. They're expecting to kick on. I've seen videos of Arsenal fans on social media saying, do you expect to win next year? Of course, we expect to. What do we need to be better in our city? So that's where the Arsenal fans' expectation is, right? I'm coming on a little bit because, like you said, I think other teams will be back. I think Liverpool will be more competitive. I think United will try to strengthen. I think Newcastle will improve. So it's going to be, I think City will be there again, obviously. So
thanks for mentioning Chelsea.
Thanks for
mentioning Chelsea.
You could be competitive again too, but it depends again on recruitment for you as well. Not only recruitment in, but recruitment out.
Recruitment out.
So, but yeah, I think I think Arsenal will be in a race to top 4 again, and I think they will get out of the group stage. I'll predict early that I think they have enough that they should be able to advance past the group stage of Champions League.
Even if they get a pot of Real Madrid and Bayern?
No, if that's the case, then no. But that hasn't come to pass. I'm
kidding.
hoping, no, seriously, you can't be that unlucky, man.
Yeah, I'm just kidding.
You can't be that unlucky. They might end with Barcelona or somebody else like that, but it can't be that unlucky.
So our final question is from Damar. Everybody remembers Damar was a guest during the World Cup. And of course, Damar had to send in this question, which is funny because you wanted to talk about this. I tell you, now I've been that.
Trust me, I didn't message him my time to ask it. We'll go ahead.
And then all of a sudden, Damar sends in this question. Can Pochettino really, and let me get the thing, rebuild Chelsea? Rebuild was in quotations. So, let you go first.
Sure. Happy to. Let me hit the microphone. Okay. Can he rebuild Chelsea? I think it depends on a couple of things. It depends on the level of control he has in terms of the team. Because so far, it seems as if Todd Bowley seems to be, or people are giving the notion that Todd Bowley seems to want to be hands-on with the affairs of the team and stuff like that. But yeah, but we heard that rumor, right? I think Sterling said something to that effect. I'm pretty sure recently. Okay. But if you don't believe, but how you know ain't true? You there? Are you there? Anyway, but that was a report that Sterling put out there that the next season the owner rather needs to do a couple of things differently. Almost insinuating that Todd Bowley wanted to have a hands-on affair with the squad as certain decisions. Whether or not it's true, who cares? But I think the beast that is Chelsea kind of still remains the same, where a lot depends on how much say so the coach will have. Now, the key for Pochettino, like I believe, is to trim the squad or mold it in the shape that he wants it to be molded in.
And apparently there are already discussions about that.
They need to be. But I think he's a good enough coach that he can potentially get you guys back into contention for the Champions League. I don't expect him to come and have a title challenge immediately. So can he rebuild Chelsea? Rebuilding it in the sense that they give what we would consider to be a minimum requirement of what Chelsea standard is supposed to be, which is a top 4 challenge at the very least, and maybe a cut run. I would say, yeah.
I think based on the type of coach he is, he can. But I think so much depends on 4 things.
Mm-hmm.
First, that you said, the outgoings. Needs to be a mass exodus of players at Chelsea Football Club. Number 2, we need to sign a DM. Number 3, we need to sign a goalkeeper. I mean, did you see Mendy at the weekend? My gosh. Can't believe Christopher later anyways. Let me not expose Christopher opinions.
But I hear Mendy's set to leave, but what?
He and or Kepa.
We'll get rid of both.
Because I think Kepa won't be a number 2.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Right. So we need a goalkeeper, we need a DM, and we need a striker.
Mm-hmm.
And we need outgoings. If we do that, and we give Pochettino free rein to manage the squad as he sees fit, to build and shape the squad how he sees fit, definitely. Because I think what is missing at Chelsea is a structure for those players. I think not having European football will hurt next season for sure, but I do think it will be beneficial in the long run. Potter always used to complain about not having enough time on the training pitch because there were so many games being played, in this unusual season. I think not having Europe, only focusing on domestic cups and the league. When I say the league, I mean the title challenge. I just mean league form.
I know.
I think that would be critical, but I think he has the right character for what Chelsea needs right now. I'm still not sold on the appointment.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why. Is it the Spurs connection? Is it? I don't know why. It's just maybe it's just maybe it's just me not being excited about anything to do with Chelsea lately. But I think the sort of character he has, as I said, what I saw him achieve with that Spurs team, that I think wasn't that great of a squad that people think that it was. I think that he could, but as I said, it depends on those 4 things. Those 3 key signings that I think we need to make, and having at least 10 outgoings.
Well, the reason that I wouldn't be like for example, I got excited when Klopp was coming.
Mm-hmm.
But the reason
anybody.
Yeah, exactly. The reason that I wouldn't be overexcited that Pochettino is coming is, again, Pochettino to me gives the aura of steady, not necessarily great.
Mm-hmm.
Is he a better manager than Klopp and Pep?
No.
Okay, good. But what he will have at Chelsea is that he might have similar. Well, I don't know. What's the budget of top of them? How deep in the pocket them is?
What do you mean?
Like resources. Like, is he as Abramovich had the ceremony that can splash?
Yeah.
Bullies him.
Mm-hmm.
Similar. Okay, good.
Mm-hmm.
So when they get hurt in terms of when we all can outlay on players, right?
No, I don't think so.
Good.
Because remember we done.
But y'all do a lot of business already,
and we do a lot of amortization. Like we can pay a lot of those players, a lot for those players over time, not really upfront.
Right. So
yeah. So that's it for our first question and answer segment, and that's it for the podcast for today. We want to thank our usual sponsors, Whole Health Pharmacy. We want to thank Spirit Light Studios. We want to thank our keen listeners, Ronaldo and Damar, for sending their questions. Hopefully we'll have one of them back, or one of them rather, as a guest sooner rather than later. But yeah, who else we want to thank? Nobody else. But continue to follow us on the Dugout Podcast. Like, share, comment, subscribe. And yeah, that's basically it for us.
Yep.
We'll be back next week with more leaderboard shenanigans. I need to get my lead because I know if Andrew wins this leaderboard, I will never live it down.
No, I don't know if you give me the perception I'm going to tease you about it. I'm not going to tease you about it. I'm going to simply ask you when to be available that I can get my meal. That's it. That's pretty much it. You know? And then I look forward to having another meal again at the end of next season.
See what I tell you?
And another one.
See
what
I tell you? It has already started.
Because I have a talent for picking results, as you can see. I'm better talent than you.
Yeah, you're so far in the lead.
Don't worry. I don't need to be fat for a lead. Just need to be better than you. Why do you think that I won't win it by a landslide? I can win it by a point. I'm still happy. No, it's still a title is a title.
It's true. Arsenal fans gonna do that. Anyways, thank you for joining us, and do join us again next week.